Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Hello there, a very warm welcome to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, and in the company of my Racing Post colleagues and fine judges, Graham Rodway and David Jennings, and also Frank the Tank Hickey from Paddy Power. We're going to look through some very tricky tests. It's not one of the highest profile Saturdays of the summer, but some very, very difficult stuff on ITV4 from Haydock, from Newmarket, from Chester. We'll have a look at the rest of the cars to see if there's any value lurking. And then the boys over in Ireland will look at the Curragh card on Sunday, which has a bit of group action. But we'll start by saying, G-Rod, how tired after you? How long did you last into election night?
At 2 o'clock it was last night. I managed to last 2 hours. I think by then I'd got a good idea of what was going to happen. Although, to be fair,
10 o'clock you get a good idea, don't you? That exit poll, blimey, if they ever become racing tipsters, then they'll clean the bookies out, won't they?
Yeah, they were spot on, weren't they?
Did you make it pay?
I didn't pump. I did go to Sandown last night. I made it pay there.
Did you?
It was a good day. Yeah, good going night. Yeah.
Oh, good, excellent. Well done. Who did you vote for? Or is that none of my business?
I voted Tory, but
you don't have to say.
I never voted Tory in my life.
Why did you this time?
I couldn't have Corbyn, but then
really?
So many people couldn't they?
You swam against the tide there, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't really have a strong view. I think they're both as bad as each other.
It's a right old mess, isn't it? I don't suppose you boys stayed up and got involved in all that. You left us to carry on making the political mess that we are of it all, chaps. Did you? I suppose you got a nice early night and you're all fresh for the weekend.
I started watching Line of Duty. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's very good.
Is it?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm addicted to it now at the minute.
Okay. Rightio. And Frank, are you in good form?
Yeah, very good form. Yeah.
Punting well?
Yeah, not bad.
Right. Well, let's get stuck into it because, like I say, it's tricky fare, isn't it, G-Rod? How confident are you that you're going to be giving plenty of winners today?
Yeah, fairly confident.
All right. Well, let's kick on with the 220. It's the Betway Sprint Handicap at Haydock Park. We don't have betting just yet, but hopefully, G-Rod, you've got the winner.
Yeah, I thought it was a Tills race between Full Intention and Awesome Allen. The ground's going to be on the soft side at Haydock. It's already soft and there's loads of rain forecast, so I could get really testing there. Both of them like soft ground. Their form really ties in together. They all seem to beat each other. Like Awesome Allen wins one day and then Full Intention wins the next. But I just think it might be Full Intention's turn this time. He's carrying top weight. He's got to give a couple of pounds to Awesome Allen. But last time out at Haydock over the same trip, he travelled really nicely into the race from a bad draw, still at 13. He was the only double-figure runner to make the first 4. The rest of them were all in single figures. He ran an absolute storm, and he has got a higher draw again this time, but it might be a bit different this time on the ground.
God, look at it. Look at that.
I know, terrible forecast,
It's going to absolutely chuck it down, isn't it?
I wouldn't fancy being there much.
From daybreak tomorrow, it's really going to...
Yeah, it could be really grim up there.
Yeah.
But Full Intention handles soft ground, and yeah, he's my pick.
Full Intention. David, have you got a strong view on this one?
I do. I strongly fancy Full Intention, Bruce. Funny stat here, actually. Well, not a funny stat, but a great stat if you're Tom Dascombe. If you had a tenner on every runner that Tom Dascombe has had at Haydock in the last 5 years, how much would you be in profit now or loss, do you think?
A lot.
I guess, 1,030 maybe?
Yeah, you'd be over £1,000 in profit. That's not bad.
Really?
He's £101.83 level stakes profit at Haydock. He's had 44 winners there in the last 5 years. And on grass, the closest to that is Chester, where he's like 29 or something. So he does target Haydock, and I actually fancy a few horses of his tomorrow. But this Full Intention, as Graham alluded to there, that run the last day was a cracking run from 13, because the winner was 5, the winner was 5, the third was 8, the fourth was 1, and the fifth was drawn in stall 4. He's only up £2 for that, and he's really good on soft ground, because his best ever performance came in the Windsor Castle last year. He was 4th to Ardad that day. And I think the key to this horse is that he had been running over 5 a lot last year, but he's running over 6 now, and he's been gelded. And I think that's the key. You'll see there 2 runs ago he was 5th to Zamjar, but that doesn't tell the story, because he clipped heels inside the final furlong. He would have been a lot closer than 2.5 lengths that day. He was unlucky the last time because he traded really short in running. I think he'll win, Bruce.
Okay, and Frank, what's your opinion?
Yeah, you could definitely see the claims for Full Intention, and like even to go back to that Windsor Castle run was even more meritable because he was on the wrong side to where all the pace was that day. So the fact that he got so close was excellent. But there was one in here I thought was a good thing, but of Michael Appleby is called Fantasy Keeper. He won on handicap debut at Nottingham last time on soft ground off a mark of 65. He beat a horse called Seaview easily by 2 lengths. Seaview was just touched off in handicap at Ripon yesterday. Ryan Moore is booked, which is very eye-catching. It's the first time in 5 years Michael Appleby has put him up. They say that the softer the ground, the better for him, and with the horrendous forecast, it's going to be heavy there tomorrow. I think he'll take a fair bit of beating, up only £6 for that Nottingham win.
Righto, so to summarise then, good stuff. You've started very well there, lads. G-Rod and DJ both fancy Full Intention. Frank wouldn't be surprised to see that win, but he believes that Fantasy Keeper will get the job done. OK, good stuff, lads. 3:30 we'll move on to now. It's the Betway Pinnacle Stakes. It's a Group 3. And we've got some betting, haven't we, Frank?
Yeah, Admin Princess are favourite of 5-2. Laganor is 7-2. Batil 4-1. Maleficent Queen 7-1. Dubka 8-1, and we're 14-1 bar.
David Jennings, you can go first.
Yeah, I'm going to stay very. I'm going to be very patriotic here and go for Laganor from the Tony Martin stable with Jamie Spencer up. I think with Laganor, I know she's only tried the trip once, and that was in this race last year. And people will say, "Oh, she doesn't stay, she doesn't stay." But that was her only try at the trip, and Kieran Fallon had a shocker because he held her up last, and it was a real slow pace. And the only ones that got into it were Journey and Sweeping Up, who finished first and second. Nothing else got into the race, so you can kind of put a line through that. And she's won over 1.2 miles at Navan, and as you know, Navan is as stiff a track as you can get. So I think she will stay. I know she's drawn in stall 11, but Spencer will be looking for cover, and it'll be probably watching through your fingers kind of stuff, because she'll have to come from the back of the pack. But she's a really, really good filly, so she is. I thought her last 2 runs were rock solid. She was third to somehow at Gorham Park on soft ground, so the ground won't be any problem to her. And then she was just collared late by Turret Rocks at the Curragh. I think she is the most likely winner.
Frank, who do you think's most likely winner?
Yeah, I think the top 3 here set a fair standard, but I think with the forecast ground, there's a horse called Batil. It used to be trained by David Simcock. It's over in France now with some train called Grafford. I don't know a whole pile about, but she ran over 1.7 miles last time with Sean T in a Group 3 where she ran a very good race to be second, beating 2.5 lengths, but her record on ground, soft or worse, is 4 from 4. And with the forecast the way it is, I think she looks a knocking each way, but I think she's just big at 5-1 out there. I think you'd at least get her in the places, if not win.
Who's done the best stab at this race so far out of DJ and Frank, do you think, Graham?
Quite clear for me, because I had a good look at the race and I thought there was no way that thing DJ tip would stay. So I'm definitely in the Frank camp. I don't like it when trainers run a horse a million times over the same trip without trying them more over 1.5 miles. If he thought this horse was going to get 1.5 miles, Tony Martin, then why has he not tried it before? I mean, the horse has had plenty of chances.
What about Trending? He ran for about 10 years at 6 furlongs, ended up winning over 1.7 miles, didn't he?
Sizing John.
Yeah.
There's always an exception to the rule. But Batil is an absolute mudlark, loves it. They can't get soft enough for it. No wonder they've moved it over to France, to Graffard's yard, because, it's always testing out there. But he's bringing it back here, and it's going to be bottomless. Batil will absolutely love it. I think Batil will be very difficult to beat.
Righto, and the other race at Haydock we're going to look at is the big race of the day there. It's the Betway John O'Gaunt Stakes, a Group 3 for which Breton Rock is favourite, isn't he, Frank?
Yeah, he's 5-2. Mitchell Swaggers 4-1. Ground 9-2. Gelata Absolutely So and So Beloved are 7-1. That is the Spirit is 14-1, and we're 16-1 bar.
If you happen to be in the Mijas area of southern Spain tomorrow and you hear a massive great roar from a bar, it will probably be Paul Keeley, because it will mean Mitchum Swagger has run. He's had a big bet on Mitchum Swagger. G-Rod, what do you think?
Yeah, well, Mitchum Swagger absolutely loves soft ground again, but how much money have I lost on this horse over its career? I mean, it is an absolute bookie's dream. This horse always goes off a lot shorter than it probably should do, and very rarely wins. The difference, I suppose, here could be that we've got Ryan taking over, and Mitchum Swagger's quite a tough ride. You need to keep at him, and he stays and stays and stays and keeps going forever. I just have a gut feel that he's better on a straight track. This is obviously around 7 furlongs. I know he's drawn on the inside, but he lacks a yard of pace for me, and I think he might be better over a mile nowadays.
Who are you going for?
Breton Rock for me, the favourite. There's another one with a good draw, but this one's got a bit of pace about him. He will have the tactical speed to hold up round the bend there, and if he can get well placed, he's got a good turn of speed. Breton Rock for me.
Graham fancies the Jolly. What about you, DJ?
When the betting came out on this, I like to consider myself a pretty good at tissues, and I kind of priced this race up in my head before the prices came out, and I can't believe how big Gelata is. Sevens, and it's biggest with Powers, so obviously Frank is taking him on, so Frank will obviously do his usual line where he goes, there's one in here, and you're going, oh no, Frank has spotted a certainty somewhere. But anyway, I fancy Gelata. I think the ground will be fine, because its best performance actually came over this course and distance in a conditions race last year. Made all that day and won quite convincingly. I think he's getting better with age. I thought that run in the Bet365 mile was really, really good. It was third to Sovereign Debt and Gabriel, who fought out to finish to the Diamond Stakes at Epsom last week, and the fourth Opal Tiaras ran well since as well. And that day over a mile at Sandown, he was the last horse off the bridle that day. Travelled really well under Spencer. I think soft ground and 7 furlongs at Haydock is this horse's bread and butter. I think 7-1 is huge.
Right, just an interesting point about Gelata, as I was reading Charlie Yields' column in the Weekender, and he was saying that he doesn't think he's going to run Gelata. He'll almost certainly wait for Royal Ascot because he thinks he could run really well at Royal Ascot. So and that was only a couple of days ago. So the fact that he's changed his mind, is always a positive.
Yeah.
Suggests to me that he must be showing him something at home. Maybe he's in top form and he thought, oh, we'll have a crack now.
Yeah, that could be. That's a good clue. That. Yeah, excellent. Okay, Frank, you've been waiting patiently. What do you make of the John O'Gaunt?
Yeah, I thought Gelata's interesting. He's a good enough wrecker with a bit of cut. I just thought it'd be difficult enough with the heavy ground to give away £3 to a few here. Same with Bretton Rock, he's to give £5 away. I am in the same boat as Mr. Keeley. I had a bet at the start of the week on Mitchum Swagger when the betting went up first, and I'm very happy with it now. Ryan Moore booked. He's run at Haydock there last year when he was touched off by Hatal in a Group 3. If he could replicate that, I think it'd be very difficult to beat. And you only have to go back to last year in the Royal Hunt Cup when, off a mark of 108, David Lanigan thought he was an absolute certainty, and he couldn't believe he was beat. Now, it ended up being probably the draw beat him on the day. But if he can run anything like that, I think he'll be very hard to beat getting weight from the top two.
Lovely stuff. Anything else at Haydock without giving your nap away, G-Rod?
Yeah, there's an interesting runner in the 440, Warrior's Spirit, for Richard Hannon. Got caught behind in a slowly run race at Newbury. Stayed on quite nicely. That race has worked out well. I thought it was an absolute certainty at Newmarket next time up, but ran no sort of race. Couldn't put my finger on why. I think it might be worth another chance.
Okay. DJ?
Yeah, I spoke earlier about Tom Dascombe at Haydock, and I think Reflector in the 255 is quite interesting. Both wins have been on soft ground, so it's crying out for soft ground. Ran okay at Chester last time. It only beat a few home, but I could kind of looked at it. It got trapped on the outside, looked like it needed to run. I think Reflector is around 12-1. I think that's quite interesting. I'd say it'll go off a bit shorter than that.
Frankie, any other Haydock fancies?
Would you believe I had 3 horses, and the 2 of them have been mentioned so far. For the same reasons Graham said, Warrior Spirit, I'd give him another go. Reflector's very interesting in that 255. Again, he handles cut no problem, and that Tom Dascombe's record, the track is excellent. I think he'd be worth playing each way at a double figure price.
Yeah, he won't go off 12s.
He won't. No. I think he was entered in a race at, was it Ripon or somewhere like that, and he was moving in the market before he was made a non-runner. So I think it's significant enough. They obviously think he's well handicapped and he just needed the run at Chester. And then the 515, another Tom Dascombe horse. I'm taking a bit of a chance on stamina here. But Calder Prince, won a 7 furlong handicap on soft ground here last year off a mark of 94. He's down to 85 here. It's only a few runs back. He was 5 lengths forward to Afjan, who'll be vying for favouritism in the Royal Hunt Cup. He's gone up £6 for that. And second that day was Oh This Is Us, who won listed race at Haydock next time and was third, slightly unlucky in the Diomed Stakes at Epsom next time. And Calder Present's actually been dropped. Prince been dropped a couple of pounds since then. Haydock is fine if he could get an easy time in the lead, and if he does, hopefully he'll see out the mile and he'll go well at, again, he could be a 14 or 16-1.
Fantastic. Excellent summary of the Haydock card, chaps. Well done. Competition time then. Every week we give listeners and viewers the chance to win a free £25 or €25 bet, courtesy of our sponsors, Paddy Power. All you've got to do is answer a simple question and tweet your answer using the hashtag Postcast. Monday's question was, who finished second to Wings of Eagles in the Derby? The answer, of course, is Cliffs of Moher, and the winning entry was sent in by D. Gill from Belfast. Well done, D. Your free bet will be credited to your Paddy Power account. Join Maddie on Monday for another chance to win a free £25 or €25 bet from Paddy Power.
Introducing Paddy Power's Hot Trot Jackpot, their new free-to-enter horse racing competition. Every Saturday, pick 5 horses in a free Lucky 31 bet for your chance to win the guaranteed £10,000 jackpot. T&Cs apply. 18+ BeGambleAware.org.
Let's look at a couple of the televised races over at Newmarket. It's the first meeting on the July course, and at 2:30 we've got the Animal Health Trust celebrating 75 years handicap. Well done to everyone at the Animal Health Trust. That's a great milestone. Tricky old race this. Frank, how do you bet?
Yeah, Omran is 3-1 favourite. Juanito Chico 9-2. 6 Strings 13-2. Ejabe 7-1. Thomas Cranmer 8-1 along with Novo Man. Law and Order's 10-1 and we're 14-1 bar.
I'm going to be backing Juanito Chico, unless any of you can make a very good reason for why not. G-Rod, you going to bat first?
Yeah, Juanito Chico. Yeah, I really fancy it. Likes downhill tracks. Won at Brighton and was very impressive when winning last week at Epsom. And this, I think this course will be ideal. I mean, the July course is a long way downhill. I know they've got that uphill finish, but most of the track is on the way down. And well, I mean, that race at Epsom, the first 2 dominated that race throughout. Juanito Chico looked in an impossible position and it absolutely flew home in the last furlong to get there. It was the only one to come from behind to get even close in that race.
Great ride by Sylvester de Souza, wasn't it?
He rides that track beautifully.
He's good at Epsom, isn't he?
Yeah, he does. And this can defy the rise, this Juanito Chico.
Righto, DJ?
I don't really have a strong fancy, Bruce. I'd be willing to chance 6 Strings, who I think could be well handicapped off 87. We've only seen it 3 times as a juvenile. It's been gelded though before the start of the season, and that run in the super sprint at Newbury, I know it says it finished 9th, but it looked like it was going to win a furlong out. I thought it ran really well. It's held in high regard by Richard Fahey, and I just wouldn't be surprised. Look, it's not a really strong fancy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was above average.
Fahey's got 32 runners on Saturday. Isn't that incredible? How many winners do you think he'll have? DJ, you go first.
6.
Okay, I'm really glad you didn't do a summary of all 32 there. That was just the answer I was looking for. G-Rod, how many do you think?
I don't know what sort of form he's in.
I'm just saying a number. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Play the game, Graham.
I'll go for 3.
3. And Frank, what about you?
I'll just guess 4.
4, right? Okay.
You're already plucking out of the air.
That was fun, wasn't it? Frank, what's your view of the 2:30 at Newmarket?
I thought the 2 at the top of the market would be difficult enough to beat. Omran won very easy at Newcastle last time off a £9 lower mark. Now that wasn't probably much of a race, but it's the run before it at Newbury where he was 4th, beating a length behind Bacchus. That's probably the strongest handicap run all year. Everything has won out of that race. It's unbelievable. But I think if you remember back to the podcast we did before Epsom, I was very keen on Juanito Chico, and he did the business. Now, he won by a length, but in reality, he was far more. He won by far more than a length. He was held up and he got a blocked run for most of the way, and you thought, oh no, here we go, he's not going to get out. But Sylvester got him out and he flew home. Now he's got £7 for that, and that was probably a stronger race than the one Omran won in Newcastle. And for that reason, with Sylvester still up, who I think is one of the best jockeys around, I think he'll go in again.
Jolly good. OK, right, let's move on to the 340, which really is the head-scratcher of the day, isn't it? It's the John Sunley Memorial Handicap, mile and 6, 7-1, the field, Frank.
Yeah, Hot Beat and Jama are 7-1 favourites. Nikita, Cape Cova, Lord Yates and Bats Rock are 8-1. Byron Flyers 10-1. Champagne Champ 12-1 along with Angel Gabriel and Gabriel's King, and we're 14-1 bar.
Definitely your turn to go first, Frank.
I thought this Jama was very interesting. He was gelded at the end of the year, and he came back and he was second on debut on his season reappearance at Chester, or what was his run before? Sorry, it wasn't Chester. At Haydock, where he was well backed. He went up £3 for that run, but went to Chester next time, where instead of being out in front with him, they held him up, and he was actually very impressive. He came out wide and still picked them up, not a bother, and won by 3 lengths. You kind of got the feeling that he was a young stayer on the improve in a big way. He got £7 for that, but I think he will be tough enough to beat. He's about 7 or 8 to 1.
Okay, that's Jameh, I think. Jaameh. Hard one to pronounce that. G-Rod, what do you reckon will happen here?
Nikita, for me, the top weight, got in all sorts of problems. Chester Cup, just travelled beautifully through the race, got absolutely murdered on the inside route, and then bounced back at York last time, ran an absolute cracker. I'm not sure that track, that big galloping track, is ideal for Nikita. It travels well, and I think this course will suit Frankie Dettori. Is a positive booking as long as he waits and waits and waits. It can be a bit quirky, old Nikita, but he's got loads of talent.
How much are you going to have? 40 quid each way?
Not that confident in this race, but maybe 25 each way.
25 each way. DJ, are you confident?
Reasonably, but I'm going to throw another one into the mix here. I think the only reason Bats Rock is the price he is because you see a 7 in front of its name. But if you watch that race at Goodwood last time, sure, he nearly came down 2 furlongs out with Josephine Gordon, was travelling well at the time. That 1 mile 6 handicap was won by Top Tug. Now, won reasonably convincingly by Top Tug, but Bats Rock was 9-2 that day, and I'm convinced he would have been second. And if he was second, he'd be about 7-2, not 8-1. Very, very unlucky. I thought it was a nice reappearance at Ascot behind Appeared. I think he's well handicapped off 84. I think he's been crying out for this trip. I'm a big fan of Josephine Gordon.
She's terrific, isn't she? I was going to say that, DJ. She's really come on even more from last year, hasn't she? You can be so confident when you see her in the saddle, can't you?
I tend to get carried away with these things, but I think she's the best female jockey I've ever seen on the flat. I think she's exceptional. Like she's strong in a finish. She gets horses to settle. And she's like, I could see her being snapped up by a really top stable. I think she's that good. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you are. Are you a fan, G-Wood?
Yeah, the thing that I most like about Josephine Gordon is she keeps it simple.
Yeah.
And that's my favourite asset of any jockey.
Which most women don't do.
Oh, God, let's get off that. Yeah. Frank, what's your view on Jogo?
I think she's excellent. I think the best compliment you can give to any rider is never do you actually go, oh, she's done something wrong there. You just think she does what she's supposed to do and no complications, and there's never really any excuses with any ride she gives. She's always on the ball.
Apart from Bats Rock's last time, though, where she nearly got brought down.
Yeah, but I mean, that's good. Look, that's Goodwood, isn't it? I mean, anything can happen there. But plenty of jockeys have been caught out by the camber and the weirdness of Goodwood. Okay, so to summarise then, we've got Jarmere for Frank, Nikita for Graham, and David fancies Bats Rock. Okay, anything else at Newmarket, DJ?
I thought in the 525, this is a stab in the dark, but I think Furnas could be a lot better than American 95. Now, I know 95 is no cakewalk for starting off in a handicap, but I was woeful impressed with its performance in a mile 2 maiden at Newmarket last year. Travelled so well that day and beat Lexington Law and Perigee, and both of those are decent yardstick. Now, I know Lexington Law is a serial loser, but rated in the 80s, so is Perigee. And I like these Godolphin horses that come back from a break. I think Furnas could be very good in the 525.
Graham?
3.05, yeah, outdo for David O'Mara. It's back to a nice mark, and quite an eye-catching race when third at Ripon a couple of starts ago. Had to go right round the outside of the field. It was a bit disappointing last time, but this ground will suit him a lot better than it did then. It should be probably on the far side of good at Newmarket. I looked at the forecast and it's nice and dry, which is nice because I live up that way.
Excellent. Frank, anything else for Newmarket?
In the 155, the maiden, a horse called Folktale was fourth on debut at Goodwood, but that novice race was particularly strong, I think. The winner, Massar, is heading for the Chesham. Invincible Army was very well back that day of James Tate. Cost a fortune, probably could end up in Royal Ascot too. The two of them pulled a little bit clear, but this Folktale was a little bit green. He was very slow away. He stayed on nicely at the end without being ridden too aggressively, and I just thought if he stepped forward for that run at all, he would be nigh on impossible to beat.
I'm so glad you've brought that up, Frank, because I was actually at Goodwood that day, and I was watching the race with Nick Gifford, and I backed Folktale because Nick was trying to give me a tutorial in horses going to post, because you know me, they all look the same, they all run the same, I'm absolutely useless, they're just horses, and he was trying to sort of, educate me in the finer points, and we picked out this Folktale as a horse who looked nice going to post. We backed him, and on the way back, he basically summed up everything you said. He wasn't hard on him, ran on well, looks a hot race, so I must remember to back Folktale. Let's go to Chester then, and their televised contest is the 310. It's the Liverpool Gin handicap. I've never drunk Liverpool gin. Have you, Graham?
No, it sounds lovely.
In actual fact, since my 18th birthday, when I drank loads of gin and lime and then regurgitated it, I can't even smell gin, so I couldn't tell you how good Liverpool gin is. That's not really going to help you find winners. but Graham Rodway's view of the race might. Who'd you like?
Yeah, this Kamari, last time I laid it at Redcar. Well, I mean, it was one of the worst lays you're ever going to see. It was hard on the bridle, everything else was off the bridle, about 4 furlongs out. It just kept going further and further away and won so easily. It was incredible. Now, it's been whacked up £16 in the ratings, but this is just the type of horse that Mark Johnston excels with, and he's flying at the moment as well. I need Mark Johnston. And around Chester, it's got a decent draw, obviously going to race prominently given one of Mark Johnston's. Going to be very hard to peg back, I'd say.
So you're going with the Jolly. And Frank, before you tell us who you think's going to win, what's the betting on this one, mate?
Yeah, that Kamari is our 11-4 favourite. Casemiro is 9-2. Starlight Romance 5-1. It's a Kind of Magic 13-2. Devil's Bridge 7-1. Subatomic 8-1, and we're 10-1 bar.
And who's going to win, Frank?
Kamari and Casemiro have the sexy profiles. Casemiro won a maiden at debut at Linkfield. He gets a mark of 87 here, while Kamari won a maiden at Redcar before going on to Redcar to win on his handicap debut off 71. Like £16 a fair rise, but he absolutely bolted up that day, so he might be up to defying that mark. But I'm going to give one down near the bottom a chance. Subatomic of Rafe Beckett. He won a maiden last year on good soft ground at Leicester. He's got a decent draw on 3 here, which is always very important at Chester. And he ran well enough at Leicester last time. Like, he was beaten 11 lengths in the end, but he didn't really get home. He looked like she'd need the run. Beckett has a pretty respectable record at Chester. I think he's at 19% overall.
And he's banging form at the moment as well.
Yeah, he is. And it improves to 26% when you just use 3-year-olds as 3-year-old runners there. So you can imagine that if she comes on with the run of Leicester, and that race has actually worked out, the winner onto victory was only touched off by a well-handicapped Michael Stouthorse last night at Sandown. And the second, Black Trilby, ran really well behind Juanito Chico at Epsom last time. So that was probably a hot race for Leicester. And she is about 8 or 9-1. I'd probably play that each way.
Do you bet these horses as you're telling us what you're going to back? Because I was looking at it on the Racing Post app. I've got the Paddy Power price up. She just suddenly shortened while you were talking. What's going on?
I haven't backed her yet, but I better get on and back it now.
Certainly had. I'm a bit torn here because, as you know, King Rafe is the greatest trainer of all. But Sheen Murphy is still very much in my bad books. Can anyone think why? Name the horse. Epsom last week. Barocco.
Barocco, yeah.
Oh, when he sat on the fence and sat on the rail and just didn't get off. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to end up backing him. I just hope Sheen is
he was on fire last night at Sandown.
Double, didn't he?
Yeah, double for Joseph Chouit. Yeah, he was absolutely flying too.
Okay, I need to be more forgiving.
Joseph who?
Joseph Chouit. That's his name.
Joseph Shoot. C-H-U-T-E.
Shoot.
No, it's not shoot.
That's how it's pronounced.
Chouit, like tweet.
Shoot. David Jennings giving elocution lessons. That's a first.
You have to get onto him and ask him.
Okay. Gerald what? Tweet.
Joseph,
sorry. I'm turning into Gerald Temelty. Who's going to win it, DJ?
I thought the rock solid one was Starlight Romance. I'm hoping this will be one of Richard Fahy's 6 winners. I just thought that third to Battered in York, soft ground, 7 furlong, I thought that was rock solid, to be honest with you. And drawn in stall 5 will get a nice toe into the race. I'd be very surprised if she didn't finish in the first 3 at around 11-2. I thought Starlight Romance was the one.
Okay, let's sweep up everything else. We've got the rest of Chester. We've got the Curragh. We've got Beverley. We've got Catterick. We've got Chepstow. They're over the sticks at Stratford. Before we get to the naps, who should everyone be backing, G-Rod?
2 at Stratford. Dan Skelton's he's starting to come into form again. I mean, he's very unlucky the last couple of weeks. He's had like second, third, you know. But I think he'll hit the target tomorrow night at Stratford. Excellent team who runs, I think, in the 7 o'clock or the 6:30.
Well, which one is it?
I've got to find it now. Hold on.
Here we go.
7 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Yeah, and then in the race after, double up with Cobra de May. They're both improving types. Dan Skelton, he seems to like mop up at this time of year. You know, I don't know if he keeps back a few decent types for the summer to pick off some easy pickings. Well, I think there's some easy pickings at Stratford.
So your double is excellent team in the 7 o'clock at Stratford and then the 7:30 Cobra de May. Okay, David Jennings.
I'm going to go over to the Curragh at 4:10. Now, this might sound ridiculous, fancying a horse in a handicap off a mark of 103 that has to give weight away to everything. But Son of Rest, trained by Fozzie Stack, who's made such a bright start to his training career, The key to this colt is the ground, really, to be honest, because it won a maiden at Cork over 5 on its first start of the season by 6.5 lengths, and it beat a horse called Florida Times, who at the time was with Adrian Joyce, and then it came out next time and won a Cork maiden herself, and has since gone to David O'Mara and finished third in a listed race behind Visionary at Newbury. So the form is really, really good, and this Son of Rest just absolutely devoured the ground that day at Cork, and it was disappointing last time at Naas behind Dr. Jeff, but the ground that day was good to firm. It was rattling quick, and he still travelled quite well. I think on this soft ground, you'll see a different Son of Rest, and I think he'll defy top weight in the 410.
And Frank, what's on your list?
Yeah, I have a couple of 4 or 5 actually. Beverly.
Go for it. I want all of them because I'm going to be doing a Goliath on all these.
The 2-year-old trophy. I don't know if anyone was watching the racing yesterday, but James Given had a 2-year-old Haydock that was well supported and was only caught late on in the day. But they interviewed him at the races, and he seemed particularly pleased because he said he had one working with it at home, and you got the impression the one working with it at home was far better. He said it went for this race, and the name of the horse is Cool Spirit, 78 grand breeze up purchase, just with how confident he appeared and at the races. I thought this was very interesting because it doesn't look the strongest renewal ever.
That's in the 240.
The 240. And the 315, the Hillary Needler. Rebel Assault was very well back to debut, I think at Catterick. Won very easily. Went to Musper the next day, was absolutely smashing the betting. Went off 2-5. Got beaten by a horse called It Don't Come Easy. Now, on the face of it, you would have been a bit disappointed afterwards, but when you look at the time, they actually broke the juvenile course record that day, which had stood since 1994, and she was only beaten ahead, so she's probably way above average. I'd give her another chance in the 315. At Chepstow, the 715, William Haggis, the horse, make his handicap debut off 77, won a maiden at Doncaster on heavy ground, actually handled the ground. Adonel is the name of the horse. Now, while that's very interesting, it'll make the market and shape the market. There's a trainer who's unbelievably undervalued, and that's John Flint. He is incredible for what horses he has, but he has a horse here called Winkleman who's dropped down to 76. I think at his peak when he was in Italy, he was rated 101. He was supported in the market at Kempton last time when he just never seemed to be able to lay up with them, and he stayed on, kind of plugged on in the end. The blinkers go on. Soft ground is no problem. 76 probably a mark. Like this fella, he's worth following blind. He's lethal. I'd give that a chance. And in the last, there's a horse called Tudonko. I think it's very difficult to pronounce, but Alex Dunn trains it. She got it from Mags Mullins. Ran a couple of handicap hurdles, showed nothing. Was then supported at Wetherby and hacked up. It's had 3 runs in the flat, showed absolutely nothing, gone off massive prices, but it's down to a mark of 49. Relative to its hurdles form, it's chucked in. If you see a little bit of money for this, I would follow it in.
It's called Sudonku. It's sort of like a cross between a tsunami and Sudoku, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
difficult to pronounce. I'm terrible.
It certainly is. Okay, well done, Frank. Thanks very much for that. Take it away, Steve Palmer.
This will not be beaten.
The best bet on Saturday, Graham Rodway, is...
Juanito Chico, 230, Newmarket.
Okay. David Jennings?
Laganor, 330 Haydock.
You don't think that's the best bet, do you?
That won't stay that.
That's a crap nap, isn't it?
That's a place like that.
Place late. Okay, there you go. A ringing endorsement there, Frank.
Chester, 2 o'clock. Allsaf of Simon Crisford's. He won on debut at Wolverhampton. When it got to the front handy enough, and it never looked in doubt. Absolutely hacked up, even though it looked very green in the final furlong. It's drawn 6 here, which Chester sometimes can be a little bit of a worry, but he should get across the lead, and as long as he gets the lead, it's a done deal. This wins.
David, what's your next best?
Yeah, my next best would probably be Full Intention.
Okay. Righto. Let's look at Sunday.
Don't mind Graham. That'll stay. Don't worry.
Introducing Paddy Power's Hot Trot Jackpot, their new free-to-enter horse racing competition. Every Saturday, pick 5 horses in a free Lucky 31 bet for your chance to win the guaranteed £10,000 jackpot. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Hello there, Bruce Millington, Graham Rodway, David Jennings and Paddy Powers. Frank Hickey looking ahead to Sunday's action, and the big card of the day takes place over in Ireland at the Curragh. And at 3:55, we've got the TRM Ballyogan Stakes, a Group 3 over 6 furlongs. We don't have any prices yet, Frank, do we? But
no, we don't, no.
You can go first in terms of naming the winner.
I just thought Only Mine, if she replicated the run the last day in the Greenlands when second to Gordon Lord Byron, I thought she'd be very difficult to beat. Like, the ground was very soft that day and she handled it no problem. Replication of that, I think she'll win.
Righty-ho, David, do you take a contrary view to that?
Yeah, she's a good thing. This is a really poor race. She's rated 105, so I think she's got £8 in hand on everything else. And speaking to Joe Murphy, even before that race, I got the impression there was more improvement to come from Only Mine. It was her second start to the season. She ran against Downforce in Cork before that. And I think, I just got the impression it was a softly approach with Only Mine. This should be bread and butter for her.
Okay, the lads both agree on Only Mine. Frank, the rest of the Curragh card, what stands out?
The 245, a horse called Jalika, loves testing conditions. The forecast, it's looking like it's soft to heavy there at the moment. It might even be heavy come Sunday. It was second here, 2 runs back, off £2 lower on good ground. So you might actually think it might improve a little bit for the ground turning heavy. Off a marker 65, she's down the bottom of the weight. She carry light weight. I think she can go close at a big price. And in the 425, we were only talking in the office the other day about Dermot Well didn't have the strongest team of 3-year-olds last year, but one of the lads who knows far more about Irish racing than me said that he had one Dan Silly that was supposed to be very good, and I think it might be this Titus. It's entering the Irish Derby and it's running in a listed race in the 425, and it'd be interesting to see how that goes in the market. I'd be willing to give that a go.
Laganor's entered in that race, David.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
He is. David,
I know, yeah.
Who do you like at the Curragh?
That Titus is very interesting because in its maiden at Leopardstown it'd be Fennis Beach, and I think back maybe 6 or 7 was Belgravia as well, so it worked out to be quite a good maiden that day. So I'd be interested to see if there is any money for that. It's a really tricky card at the Curragh. It's one of these ones, you know, when you go into it and something you're hoping will jump off the page. Like, nothing jumped off the page to me. The one I'd be reasonably interested in is in the 5 o'clock, the Jarlath Fahy trained Nanabad, who was just caught close home by Zamira at Tipperary last time. That wasn't good to firm ground. It was second Tellum Grove on heavy ground at Cork back in April, so the ground shouldn't pose a problem to Nanabad. And I think it's only gone up £1. Yeah, it's only gone up £1 for that good run the last time in Tipperary. And Dylan Hogan, who's a real good claimer, takes off £7. So yeah, on a really tricky card, I thought Nanabad in the 5 o'clock was the most interesting one.
Graham, we've got meetings at Goodwood and Nottingham. Have you sussed anything?
I did dig one out, and if Paul Keeley was here, he'd be so proud. This is an 11-year-old gelding running over 7 furlongs in a 4:45 at Goodwood, Scottish Glen. Now, only about 4 or 5 starts ago, this horse was beaten less than 2 lengths by Librisa Breeze in a Class 2 handicap at Ascot. Has come down in the weight since then and sneaks in at the top of this 0 to 90 off a marker 92 under the new rules that allows you to get in if it's undersubscribed. And Hector Crouch claims £3 just to get it nicely in under the weight range. I think it holds a class edge in this race. It's a couple of years since he won, but he's back on a nice mark and could do the business. 4:45 Goodwood, Scottish Glen.
Of course, the big race on Sunday takes place over at Otay, doesn't it? We've got Petit Zig, Shane's Hill, Lammy Surge taking on the... and One Track Mind taking all the locals. So there's always some good summer jumping as well. OK, chaps, thank you very much indeed for that. What's the weekend hold for you, Graham? Working? Because the governor's away, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm working all weekend.
He's on the piss all weekend, isn't he? So you've got
he's in Mihas, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in Mihas, yeah. That's where you go to play golf and get drunk.
Right, so that sounds lovely, yeah. But no, I'll be holding the fort, yeah. So I'll be working both days.
What price are you to win money betting this weekend?
I'll be fairly hopeful. I think I'm odds on.
OK. Great. David, have you got a busy weekend?
Yeah, busy enough. I have a football match tonight. I'm off tomorrow, but my brother-in-law's 40th birthday is on in the Cross Guns in Nobber. And then it's called the Cross Guns Pub in Nobber. Nobber, sorry, yeah, they live in a place in Meath called Nobber, Nobber.
Okay,
great.
Right, yeah. And Sunday?
Sunday, I'm on a news shift, so I'm working Sunday, probably with a headache.
Excellent stuff. And Frank, what about you, my friend?
Working Saturday, off Sunday. Have no real plans as yet.
What have you done with all that money that you won the other week? How much has been spent now?
I've done some wise things. I invested a little bit, Bruce, in the future, basically. I bought 2 cars as well, one for myself, one for the missus.
Did you? What did you get?
I got myself a Merc.
Did you? Aye. And what's Jill driving around in now?
She got a Hyundai Tucson. So basically, she's kind of hinting at, let's fill this up with a little family, but she'll be waiting for that for another little bit.
Excellent.
But yeah, didn't do a whole pile, gave the family some presents and stuff like that.
How lovely. Wouldn't that
And
be nice to win a 200 grand he won?
Yeah, that's dream stuff, don't it?
Brilliant. Good on you, Frank. Well played, mate. Do join us next Friday when we'll be looking ahead to all the big action. And Maddie will be back on Monday with the gang, looking back on the weekend, looking ahead, and maybe sussing a few at Royal Ascot. So join her for that.
Paddy Power stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC. Unlike some other high street bookies, Paddy Power, you beauty!